Hi everyone, welcome back to Faithful Ewe and a different type of podcast this weekend. Welcome if you're new here. My name's Hazel and I live in Wales in the UK, and I'm a spinner, weaver, a prolific knitter and a general all-round flaffer about. So welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd do something different because I haven't done much knitting at all. I've been really busy. I've been getting my tax return done and I've been getting lots of videos done for my other channel. So I haven't really had much time to do any knitting as well, so I've been really busy. But I've had an exciting delivery this week and I've had a spinning wheel. I found one on Facebook Marketplace and it was only £80, and that was what I had left out of my Christmas money from my husband and from family. So I thought I'd treat myself and buy myself this second-hand wheel that I'd seen. It's a Louette S10 and it's still in pieces in the sitting room. So I thought what we'd do today is I thought I'd show you my new spinning wheel. Well, my new second-hand spinning wheel. It's new to me anyway. And then finally I'm going to warp up the loom ready for the Advent weaving from the spin along that I did through my Advent at Vlogmas. So I thought that I'd show you me warping up the loom. I haven't spun the final skein yet, but one of the skeins is going to be for sale in my Etsy shop this weekend, and when the shawl is finished that's going to be for sale as well. So if anyone's interested who's watching, do check out my Etsy shop. The shawl won't be in there this weekend because I probably won't get it finished before it needs to go up, but I will try to get it up there for next weekend. But the skein of yarn, if you're interested and you would like some of the Advent yarn from me doing the spinning, you're very welcome to purchase it, and it will be in my Etsy shop. So I'll pop that up on Saturday and you can have a look and see if it's something you want. It's a lovely yarn. There's about 30 or 40 metres I think on the skein, and you could use it in weaving, you could use it as an accent in your knitting, and generally just do something nice. You could even make wrist cuffs with it, so you can work like a bit like fingerless mittens. You could see if you could get something like that out of it. But it's a lovely yarn. You won't get it anywhere else. It is one of a kind from one spin that I've done, and I probably won't make it again because I probably wouldn't be able to do the colours again because I used ends of bits that I had left in my box. So it's a unique yarn, so if you want it, it will be for sale in my Etsy shop. And it's probably by the time this podcast goes up, it will be in my Etsy shop. Yeah, if you want some, pop on over there and have a look. But yeah, the link is in the description for the shop. It's in the description bar below, and it's my Etsy shop, so have a look in there. I may also put it for sale in my Ko-fi shop as well, my coffee shop. So if you're interested in having a look at that, then I do have a Ko-fi account. But all that said, I haven't got any knitting to show you. I haven't got any crochet to show you. I haven't got any new spinning to show you. I've just been really busy and getting in the garden while the weather's been dry. So we're going to go in the front room and have a look at the Louette S10. This is my current wheel park. I've got one in the house. That is my Ashford Kiwi. That is my Woolmaker's Bliss, which I am thinking of selling. But this is the Louette S10. It's one of those wheels where you buy all the different bits and you make it up yourself as to what you want it to look like, whether you want a double treadle, single treadle. You can buy art yarn flyers. I'm not sure what this has got on it. I'm not even sure how old it is. But it's got quite a decent size orifice. I could do some art yarns on that. So it does have these 3 bobbins as well, which are a decent sized bobbin. But unfortunately the wheel's chipped, so I'm just hoping it's not going to be an issue with spinning. Fortunately it's chipped there, so I might see. I don't think I can turn it round. I was going to see if I could turn it round so that's on the other side, but I don't think I can. But yeah, I'm just going to put this together today, and then what I thought I would use this for is my spinning sock along, which I started last week. The Woolen Mitten on YouTube is doing the spin along, and I thought I'd join it and invite anyone on my channel to do it as well. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. Write it up, and I can see why it was so cheap. There's a big scratch on the wheel at the front, there's a big chip out of it, and it's very, very worn. I'm not sure if it's one of the first ones, because the flyer thing here is different than what it is now on the internet. But it does have 3 bobbins with it. It does have a big chip here, and I don't know whether you can see, but it has a big scratch around here. So yeah, this wheel here is going to have to come off and have a really good sand, I think, and then a re-oil. So I think this is a refurbishment job, but I'm sure I can get the hang of it. I need to get some wool on it and see if I can get the hang of it. So Bliss is going to stay for a bit longer, and we'll see how we get on with this one. So this is wheel number 4. I've got my weaving loom out, I've got the table clear, I've got my big table cleared, this one, and the sun looks like it's coming out. So I'm going to get this done, and then I'm going to go outside. So I'll just set the camera up and we'll have a look at this. Okay, so this is the heddle I'm going to use. I haven't used it yet, it's still in the packet. It's got nice wide teeth, and it's got 30 teeth on it. And it says it's a 2.5, 10, 10, whatever that is. No idea. I've got a 24-inch loom. This is for an Ashford, and my weaving loom's a Kiwi. But apparently the Ashford heddles fit with the Kiwi, the Kromsky weaving loom, sorry. So this is my loom. Right, so this is my Kromsky loom. It folds out. It's called a harp. I've got another one as well. I've got a 36 or a 38 inch. You clip that in there like that, and then there's also one on this side, so that clips on like that, so that's tight now. So we'll put that way, and then the heddle goes in the middle. It looks like it fits, so that's good. That's a good start. Now, right, okay, so I've got better angle now. So this is the front, because it's got a wider shed here, and then this is the back, and this beam here is where the weft gets wound on to start, and then as you weave you turn this one at the front and you gradually pull the cloth towards you when you're weaving, and then the finished weave ends up on this one. So we need to warp it, and our weaving loom's going to stay here, and our warping peg is going to go along here. Now I know my table is about 1¼ meters long, 1¾ meters long, so that's going to be the length of our scarf. So I'm just going to clean the table. This is my little bag of goodies, and this is where I keep all my weaving bits and bobs. It's got my warp peg, which will go on the end of the table. It's got my clamp for my warp peg, and I have 2 clamps for the loom to secure it to the table, and my hook that come with the loom, and a little pair of scissors. So this is all the cotton from the last one I did. Right, The first thing we'll do is I'll put the warp peg on the end of the table. Now I've got a protective table cover under here, so it's not going to damage my table. And then on this end, again we've got our clamps, and underneath there's a hole there and a hole down here, and that's where your clamp goes. So you pop that in and you pull your loom until you're right at the edge of the table. There we are, we're all nice and secure now. This is what I've picked for my colour palette to go with my yarn. So we've got a nice colour palette, I think. I think that green's really going to bring things out. And this pink is just going to emphasise the pinks that are in this. And the black's just going to add a nice contrast. So they're the yarns that we've picked. So now I need to get them through the heddle into the loom. So I want to find the centre. And we're going to measure the heddle. Find the centre. The heddle's 25. I'm going to go with this peg being the centre one. This bit here. I'm just going to tie a little bit of cotton. So my first colour I think is going to be my black. These incidentally are Angora, and the ones I've spun up are mohair and merino. So you pop that on the floor, your ball on the floor. Right, these are your warping beams, your warping bars. You're going to pass it through and make a loop. Push your bar through, pull it tight. You open up the end, pull it through, make a loop. So make sure you've got that central to your loom, to the end here, because that's important. Right, now this is the time to decide if you want a lot of fringe or not, which I do. So, right, so I'm going to tie my first piece on, so I'm centre. There's probably many ways to do this, but this is just the way I'm doing it. But I'm not going to do it tight for now. I'm just going to do a loose knot. You want your hook, you poke it through the back, you pull your thread through, and you walk around the loom, and you head off to your warp peg. You bop it over your warp peg. You don't want it to twist, you want to make sure that your threads are open and not twisted. And then I'm going to go round the beam at the front here, this beam here, and then I'm going to go back again. Now you don't want to go through the slot, you don't want to go through these little squares yet, you want to wait. So then off we go again up the table. Make sure it's not twisted, put it on. I'm going to go through one more time. And then I've got 3. Now I'm not pulling it too tight because I want a bit of slack on it. I don't want to pull it too tight because I want to make sure I've got a long enough scarf. I improvised with a stool because I wasn't happy with the length of my warp. So start again. This is the trickiest bit. Once you work out how much length you want and how much overhang you want and things like that, it's a lot easier. But the first initial bit where you're working out the length of your yarns is the tricky bit. So I'm not going to pull that tight. Right, that's the black. So now I'm going to move on to the pink. And then I'm going to do green pink. And then maybe a bit more black. We shall see. This is mohair merino with sparkle. Of course, got to have sparkle, haven't you? Everybody needs a bit of sparkle. Pull it back and then you can see. So I'm going to time lapse this bit for you and make it go a bit quicker. here's our loom so far. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind my threads onto my loom at the front and move the chair forward up that end. And then at least my husband can get in the door. So it's going to be a bit more faffy, but it's going to work all right, I'm sure. So I'll just position you there. Move the chair. Move you back. Right, okay, so this is the beam we're going to take them onto. We're not going to stay on there. But this is just so my husband can get in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to unclamp the loom. And turn it round. Now, this is now the back, and all the threads are on the front. So, move it forward. And do the same again, have it hanging over the table. Now we want this is our warping beam. And we want this, which is our hook, this one. We want them. Right, so this is now the back here, and the front is down there. Now these threads here all need to go on this beam here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move all my threads over out the way for a minute. And again, the same as what we did on the front. Going to have all our loops going the same way. Okay, now I don't know if this is interesting to anyone, but I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing, show you a bit of the process. So I'm just winding that on, like that, and I'm going to let that just hang there like that. Again, other people probably have ways in which they do this, but this is just the way I'm doing it. So, right, because I'm the opposite way round on my loom, I'm going to have to do my threads different. So I'm going to put all my threads over my beam here, so they're all straight and they're all untangled, and there's no tangles in them. Because what you don't want is when you're warping, when you're weaving, you don't want your threads all tangled up, like this one here, see? So you want to make sure you've got no tangles and you've got no knots. Like that. Now for some reason these ones have gone, I need to pull them out a bit, pull it tighter. Right, better. I've got a lot on these black ones and I don't want to pull them too tight because they have a tendency to snap. It's not really the best yarn for this job, but it was nice colour, so I can pull these ones tight. So I want to make sure I've got enough for tassels on this end. although I don't have to weave right till the end. So I've got this and then what I've got here for my tassels. Right, so now we need to move these threads onto here. So we take a couple of them, stretch them out, pull it round, tie them on. Now you just want to tie them just so you can get them all on, and then we'll sort out tightening them up in a bit. So I'll do, where are we? Right, I've tied all these threads on now. They're all onto the beam, all nice and tight. My battery died, so... Right, I've got myself some brown paper. And what I like to do, pop it underneath, under here. Move my strings along a bit to hold that bit of paper on. And then stay them here, we'll pull them over. Right, okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take all the threads that are down, that end and put them on this beam here. So we do this, take our lock off on the other end, and we'll wind them on slowly because we want them to go on quite tight. Making sure our paper's going on quite tight. Put my lock back on for a minute and tighten. Now I don't want to pull too tight because the Angora is quite flimsy, so it's going to take me a minute. But again, this is where you could do with 2 people. So let that flap, put it on. Now this is just going to stop all my threads getting stuck because I've got mohair and I've got Angora and they're both quite sticky. You don't want your threads too loose, but you don't want them to stick either. Pull that off again. I'm going to wind them on for a minute without so we can get them a bit tighter. And then loosen it again. Right, I'm going to do the same thing again. You can use wallpaper, or you can use A4 paper, but I've just got this to hand already, so I thought I'd give it a try. Again, it's a four-hand job really. Perils of this Angora is it's very snappy, and that's what it's done. So we're at the end anyway. So now what we want to do is turn the loom round and do what we've done on the back on the front. So I've got all our threads tied on. I'm happy with how that's looking. Don't want to do anything else to it, and I'm going to wind it on. So I'm going to loosen that, and we're going to wind on our first bit so we can start. I'm going to wind on quite a bit because I want some tassels, so wind that on. That. I'm going to go and get some board paper this time. I've got some old stuff. So it's a lot easier to use, I think, than that brown paper. So we're going to clip that in there. Get another one. Pop that in there. Where you need more hands. So I want quite a long fringe. Put more in there. Not quite wide enough, but it'll just have to do. Right. So I reckon one more turn and we can start. I think that'll be enough. Make sure they're all nice and tight, but not too tight. And then we need to check the threads are straight on the back. And then check we've got enough space for putting the heddle up and down. So don't want it to be too tight. So I want enough space to get my thing through. Oh no! There we go. Right, we're ready to go. After all that. So I don't want it any tighter because I don't want it damaging my Angora. So we're just going to spread those threads out a bit. And then we're ready to go. We're all nicely lined up. How the heddle looks. And away we go. So when I start the weaving, I'll pop the camera on and I'll show you how it's looking and we'll see how we get on. I think I'm going to have to mix some of this that I've spun, which I've used in the warp, but other than that I think we'll be fine. So I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry it was a bit long-winded, but I got myself in a bit of a knot because I haven't warped on this table before and I haven't warped in this house before, so yeah, I needed to get it organised. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get myself outside in the sun because the sun shines out, and I'm going to get on with this evening. So I'll switch the camera on when I'm doing it, and I'll do a bit of a time lapse for you and show you it coming together, and then I'll show you it when it's finished. So sorry there's no knitting podcast this weekend, but I've got nothing to show you anyway. So anyway, I'm going to go and get on with my day, and I'll see you next week for another podcast. So take care for now, and I will see you soon. So bye for now. Bye bye.